Welcome back to another episode of Jungbub Talk. Today we're diving into a really interesting concept. The balance between stubbornness and understanding. It's often said that stubbornness can either make or break us. What do you think?
Absolutely. It's a bit paradoxical, right? On one hand, stubbornness can be a sign of strength, but on the other, it can blind you to new perspectives. If you're too stuck in your ways, it becomes a hindrance. It's like trying to navigate a road but refusing to check the map.
Yeah, and that map, I think that's what understanding is, gaining the knowledge to make your point clear. When you're stubborn, you're not just sticking to your opinion, you're also missing the opportunity to communicate it well. And that's where the problem lies.
Right? Stubbornness doesn't just come from a lack of understanding. It often comes from not being able to make others see your point. So you're stuck in a loop. You're convinced you're right, but the lack of communication leaves you isolated.
And that's when you become a target for criticism, especially when others don't understand your reasoning. They start calling you stubborn, even if you have a valid point. It's a fine line between being strong in your beliefs and just being unyielding without understanding.
Exactly. But the key is growth. If you're stubborn, it could mean you're not studying enough or preparing yourself to communicate effectively. If you understand why others can't follow your reasoning, it opens the door to self-reflection.
And self-reflection leads to change, right? If you genuinely think, why doesn't this person get it? Then you start thinking, maybe I could explain it better. That's when you evolve from being just stubborn to someone who can lead and inspire others.
That's the turning point. Once you can articulate your stance clearly, others will understand you better. And that's when the respect follows. If your arguments are solid and you know how to share them, people will listen. You'll go from being the stubborn person to the leader of the group.
It's all about the effort to communicate, isn't it? When you're stubborn, it shows you have power or energy, but if you don't put in the work to understand others, that power is wasted. That's why education and continuous learning are so important.
Definitely. People with great energy or position are often seen as stubborn, but without the effort to study, they're just shooting in the dark. It's easy to think your way is the best, but if you don't understand why others can't see it, it becomes a wall rather than a bridge.
And here's the catch. If you're someone who has power but doesn't study, you might just end up being labeled stubborn. It's like you're standing in front of a crowd shouting your message, but you don't have the right tools to help them understand. And when that happens, it's easy to get frustrated.
Yeah, and that frustration leads to isolation. But the solution? Seek guidance. When you meet the right teacher or mentor, they don't just break your stubbornness with force. They help you see things from a different angle, and that's how you can change.
So it's not just about being right or powerful, it's about having the wisdom to break down that wall of stubbornness. A true teacher doesn't break you down. They help you understand so you can evolve.
Exactly. And remember, no matter how powerful or tenacious you are, without that right guidance, you might get stuck in your own perspective. That's why having the right mentor at the right time can change your whole path.
And that's why the process of learning and understanding is never ending. Even if you're strong and successful, there's always room for growth. If you're stuck, it's time to reflect and find that mentor who can help guide you forward.
It all boils down to being open to change. When you're stubborn, you can either keep pushing forward without growth or choose to evolve, to lead, and ultimately, to inspire.